say in the heavyweight division?
Dillian, man.
There we go. Dillian Whyte, bro.
And I like Dillian, man. It's so mad hearing me say that because people hear I talk about his boxing, but I like him out the ring, man. Dillian he's a nice guy. He's a nice guy, and I think he's an important guy for what he's doing in a lot of people's lives. But it's like the boxing side of things. I've always thought that it would come together. And where you've heard me jump off is that I just felt like it's not going to come together now at this point.
But I think we should be having a different conversation because I don't think we should be having, while there's a boxing conversation to be had, I don't think this is the boxing conversation right now. I think there's another conversation that is at play where we all saw Dillian in the bomber jacket, like just there, all green at the thingy working for the zone that day. And I was watching, or the visual for me was a frustrated man. And frustrated in terms of some of decision making that he's allowed himself to play second fiddle, but he's allowed himself to play second fiddle for so long in the hopes of his moment, in the hopes of, let's talk about the bravery. This guy fought in the garden. This guy was #1 contender. Everything was getting really well. Yeah. And then after he goes and has a fight, probably doesn't get paid. When you talk about these guys saying, I'm a prize fighter, and this, that, and the other. This guy was stepping into prize fighter, almost in a prize fighter element in his life where he's pay-per-view, no one talks about his name wrong. If you mention the top guys, where Joe Joyce's name is right now, that was Dillian. There weren't no Joe Joyce in that. However, he risked it all in the garden, probably doesn't get what he needed to get, and then that decimated it. We learned there's an off switch that we've never seen before in terms of that uppercut that. Remember the uppercut that we've seen it, but in a way that it was just that's the off switch. It goes, hit him there, it's kaput, right? And I feel that he's on his reflection, even now, recently, we've heard him say, I haven't got any of the zone money. I haven't got this. And now the worst thing is he's supposed to be fighting. They said the winner of him versus Franklin gets AJ. Let's never forget that. Now, all of a sudden, all he's hearing while he's there, while he's at the big fight, AJ's next fight, Tyson Fury, if we can make it. What? Eddie? What do you mean his next fight? I'm here. You lot told me, because remember, he's been told stuff that we're not hearing. He's been told stuff that we're not privy to. He's saying, Raw, how long will you lot keep on mugging me off before I get this fight? That's where I just see a frustrated man. So yes, we can talk about boxing skills, this, that, and the other, but I see a man that probably reflecting on his boxing career saying big mistakes have been made in terms of how I've managed this. The floor is yours.
No, I hear you 100%, bro. 100%. And from his perspective, I understand why he feels like that. Now, if we look at it from outside, and you see the way promoters move in this boxing game, you can see how his career was direction, the way it was put in a certain direction, right? So Eddie's got a fighter. He's got 2 fighters, AJ, Dillian. AJ has 3 of the 4 main belts. I'm not really putting you two together right now. Your job is to go and get the other main belt. Yeah. So that's right. So look at Frank Warren right now. He's got Fury. He's got 1 main belt, right? And the imaginary lineal. Then he's looking at it like, you don't want to fight Usyk at this point, right? So I know what I'll do. Let's scupper it because Dubois is right there. So let's say he goes in there, gets lucky, punches the best punch of his bloody life, and knocks out Usyk. I've done it that way. Or I play the risk and then I lose a heavyweight, and now people have got me down about next promoter because the guy promoting the heavyweight champ, he's in the game.
He's running the thing.
I wouldn't even say he's running the thing because it's Frank. Because it's not really. I don't know. It's not really happened like that for my man. But you're prominent. You're in the game. You're a promoter that people don't ignore.
Yeah.
Right. So it's one of those ones where Dillian played the second shooter. Yeah. He's up here. You're down here. Go over there and get that belt over there, like a battleship thing.
Yeah.
But the storyline was, where's my shot? Where's my shot? Where's my shot? Where's my shot? Then it started to trip up. Now, the Povetkin fight, he tripped up. the Tyson Fury, you got your shot. Like, I know sometimes what happens, and you see it in entertainment as well. Sometimes people, they make it their personality that they've been aggrieved. They make it their personality.
Yeah.
And because they have at some point, it's now their personality going forward. So now I'm when am I gonna get my shot? But like, bro, you did have your shot. It did come, and it looked really, really bad. Is Jermaine Franklin by itself the one to be like, okay, cool. Now AJ's not a champion right now, so him fighting AJ would put him straight back into the mix. So I get it, but he doesn't look at AJ as a stepping stone to my belts. AJ is the belt. AJ is the belt for him. Absolutely. And I just look at it like, you did fight this guy already. You lost. So it was back in the day, AJ. It was back in the day. You fought this man. It was a KO loss. So it's one of those ones where I'm like, I'm not going to jump completely on the aggrieved train. The WBC messed you about, but the career otherwise is not a bad career. There's horrible careers in boxing, right?
Yeah, no, I agree, because this guy is a pay-per-view fighter. Dillian is a pay-per-view fighter. You pay to watch this guy fight, and he's exciting, and he's exciting without the belt. That's one thing that we have to say about Dillian, right? The thing that he had, and the thing that he can almost argue is he had almost a Franklin moment. The guy was like a kickboxer, this, that, and the other, wasn't taking boxing seriously. As soon as he got knocked out by AJ, he said, you know what? I'm going to be better, and I'm going to do this thing correctly. Now, in there, he dedicated his life to boxing, and he got really good. There was times when you saw really steady progression. The relationship with his trainer ends, it breaks down, and we're getting a new version. And that first, before he gets knocked down by Povetkin, is the best I've seen this man he was dangerous. And he probably, and this is the thing, and it's like, we see it with loads of heavyweights, right? When he was time to be a killer and finish it, he allowed him off the hook. And then after, it's like a wounded lion that is backed up with nowhere to go. Povetkin, bow, shot, everything changes. And the old Dillian, it's like these guys almost, they get technical, but in the technicality quest, aggression almost suffers at some point for it. It's like, I get it, because it almost, that aggression, I get why you fight like that, because you're like, this is all I have, as you said before. But it's like, there has to be a way to measure up and almost keep, that's good about me.
And B Lennox.
And
we see how hard it is.
It's very difficult. But for me, I proper feel for Dillian. I'm at this, for me, I look at it and I say, oh man, they're going to do it to you again. Because even he's kind of preparing for it. He said, if it's not AJ, I'll go and fight anyone else.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Does he deserve to be in the mix with these guys at this point?
Why not? If Chisora can fight Fury for all the belts.
Well, okay, cool.
Or for the WC, why not?
Does he deserve to fight AJ next? Does that make sense? Like, in terms of just career attributes and stuff like that, we're talking a fallen unified champ, all right, on his quest to go back.
Yeah.
And a Dillian that's got knocked out by Fury, and then in a dubious decision with Franklin. Do you say that he definitely?
But we have to call it. I get it's dubious for us, but we have to call it how the judges call it. They say it's a win. It's a win, right?
I hear that, but by the same token, when we say Jermaine Franklin got the AJ fight, we say because he really won.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. No, so the reason, when you say, does he deserve it?
I mean, does that need to happen in the boxing landscape?
I have to say yes, just on the matter of because AJ's not a champion. If AJ was holding a belt, I'd say absolutely not. What's he done in terms? It's not enough, so I understand it. But because where AJ finds himself now, and AJ's in the redemption arc and this new storyline for himself, absolutely. Why not see someone that you've had bad blood with throughout your career and get paid? Because that's an exciting. When I talk about exciting fights, that's exciting. I can't wait for the man to be sitting across the table from each other, even though I've seen it before. Even though I know that there's fragilities in Dillian, and he hasn't looked as good as he needs to be. But then I'm like, because of you two's animosity, even after the bell, there'll be stuff that happens in between. Like you could imagine someone hits each other.
AJ does that little tap at the end of it.
You better not try it. That bro, there's not enough security to stop what will ensue in those moments, because there's two people that just they're yes, AJ doesn't think about him in that same way, but it's like oil, kerosene, and thing. Like it's once it will go. It's an explosion, you know. And those two, it's the fight. Like if I'm being honest, it's a fight I would like to see next, because I do want to see someone wake. Dillian, AJ will wake up in that fight if he wants to or not. He will just naturally say no, right? And then Dillian, it's at the gap in the road where he has to say, well, what am I? Because after this, you can have no real excuses. If he doesn't, because he spent so much time, we see how many times we see him on the zone after Usyk, after so many losses, he's just cussing AJ. Well, if that man beats you again, you have to keep it pim. You know what I mean? You have to.
It's bad. Yeah, if that happens, it's mad. It's rough.
Bro, every time I've seen you on this big camera screen, VT via network, cussing, looking
it's
mad.
So rough. It's so rough.
Looking mad. If this man beats you again, don't talk when he's speaking. Don't even if he's losing.
Bro, it's on a Black Panther on Backwater. You cannot talk. It gets mad still.
Yeah, you can't. So,
but then, you know what's mad? On a business level, you probably say for Dillian, it's probably best to leave that one alone for now. Like, as in, like, not forever. Just until you're ready to call this thing a day. No, I mean it. No, I mean it. Like, until you're ready to say you're walking away from the sport, because you lose to AJ, it's done. Done.
Why you say that? I honestly and wholeheartedly, firmly disagree, just because of what I've seen Chisora do. Chisora's changed the landscape of people being done. You can continue to come back and just eat burgers at the end of the fight and enjoy yourself.
Do you think Dillian has visions of himself becoming a Chisora? Absolutely not. Do you think, another question, do you think Dillian gets another title shot? And how? Which way? No. So really, realistically, your title shot is Anthony Joshua.
No, but yeah. So why you say that the Chisora thing and that element that you just brought up, yeah. The reason why I think it's different is because I see Dillian enjoying fighting and making money. I feel like he enjoys going in the ring. He's one of those guys that I just want to fight. Let me fight. You know, that's the imagery I've had from him from the beginning. So if they say, hey, Dillian, a phone call comes in, we're going to give you this much. Do you want to fight him? I'll do it. And you got to think of where he's come from. If we
did have a lot of those fights before,
if we see the story, if we look at it, bro, this guy done something that should never have been done. If you're really, when you talk about the yards and stuff, if you got a title fight coming up, why would you go and do that? This guy did what we say, why would you go and do? In terms of fighting in the garden, it didn't help anything. It's not like Povetkin, it was a cool name, but it's not like the needle wasn't going to move where Povetkin went. You just went and said, you know what, let me go get peas. It's we're in COVID. They're not letting the stadium thing, right? Well, the garden thing, right? I'll get a change, right? And once they change you, it probably wasn't the top dollar, right? And this is it. So someone that is willing to do that is willing to just, he's gonna be in boxing for a very long time. Like he'll be here longer than AJ will in terms of just still be fighting away.
I don't see it going that way for Dillian, honestly, because you remember, yes, he loves fighting, but he's not silly. He's very much a businessman. He's managing a lot of guys. Like he's managing portfolios. Probably is one of the strongest still.
A strong portfolio,
bro. He's got when you see Babbage in a big night, that's Dillian. Fabio Hooley's got that's Dillian. It's not the bad. It's I'm saying it's coming along. I don't know how deep the portfolio is though.
However, don't get it twisted. Roy Jones fought the other day. He's a trainer, and this even not to be disrespectful.
I hate the fact that he lost.
Roy Jones got busy. So that now tells to us. That should take to all of us present. That even Mayweather Mayweather had a portfolio of a lifetime, right? Wicked, just names all over the place. He still wanted to fight. There's something about the gym. There's something about training and preparing, bro. And which is going to be the wickedest segue in the world, Jay. I don't even know you're prepared for this one. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know what you think for the other people that know about the segue. And you're talking about someone that still never wants to give up.
Yo, people, thanks for watching the Undefeated podcast. Make sure you
like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, and all that good stuff, man. This is the place to be.